So this is a question from IPMAT Indore 2024 paper QA section, and it is based on geometric progressions. It says the sum of a given infinite geometric progression is 80, and the sum of its first two terms is 35. Okay, sum of first two terms is 35, and the sum of all the terms, infinite terms, is 80. Value of n for which the sum of its first n terms is closest to 100. Now sum of its n terms is closest to 100. That means if the sum is closer to 100 or more than 80, then we can say that if sum of infinite terms is 80 and sum of lesser terms, sum of few terms is more than 80, that is closer to 100. That means there has to be some negative terms, because the sum of lesser terms is more and sum of more terms is less. So there have to be some negative terms. That also means that there will be some positive and some negative terms. In a geometric progression, that is only possible when the R, the common ratio, is negative. Right? So we can say probably R will be negative. But let us check. Sum of infinite terms of a geometric progression. If I assume that the first term is A and common ratio is R, then sum of infinite terms is A upon 1 minus R. That is first information, and question says that this sum is equal to 80. Second information is first sum of first two terms is 35. So first term is A, second term will be AR because common ratio is R. So A plus AR is 35. So A into 1 plus R is 35. So this much is given. From this information we can draw probably the value of R. So if I divide first equation with second equation, so A upon 1 minus R upon A into 1 plus R, that should be 80 by 35. So A gets cancelled. So what do we get? 1 upon 1 minus R square, that is 80 by 35, or we can cancel it 16 by 7. So this is 16 by 7. Or we can say 1 minus R square is 7 by 16. By solving this, we'll get R square is 9 by 16, or R is plus minus 3 by 4. This is the value of R. R is plus minus 3 by 4. Right. Now we have to decide which value should we take, or can we get the answer using both the values of R. So as we have discussed in the beginning, if R is negative, then probably this situation will happen that the sum of some terms is closer to 100 and sum of lesser terms is 80 only. Sum of infinite terms is 80 only. So we will first check with R negative. So I will check with R equal to minus 3 by 4, because that is a hunch that we have that probably R equal to minus 3 by 4 will be the correct value. So we will check with it. If we don't get the satisfactory answer, then we will check with the positive value also, right? But chances are we will get the answer with negative value. So R equal to minus 3 by 4. If that is the case, now the question is, then the value of n for which the sum of its first n terms is closest to 100. Now, sum of n terms of a GP where R is minus 3 by 4, sum of n terms will be Sn is equal to A into 1 minus R power n upon 1 minus R. This is the sum of n terms. Now, A upon 1 minus R. We can get the value of A, but we already have the value of A upon 1 minus R. So we will not get the value of A individually. We already have the value of A upon 1 minus R to put in this relation. So I will directly replace a upon 1 minus r with 80. So I just have to find the value of n. We also have the value of r. So I just have to find the value of n for which this sum is very close to 100. So this is 80 times 1 minus 3 by 4 raised to n. That is sum of n terms. Right? So we need to find the value of n, but these values are given in the options. So first value is 4 and second is 5. So I will first check with 4 and then with 5. So if I take n equal to 4, then do we get closer to 100? We will check that. So 80, 1 minus n is 4. So it will be 3 raised to 4, which is 81, and 4 raised to 4, which is 256. Because power is 4, so this negative will disappear. So it will be 80 times 256 minus 81. That will be 256 minus 81. 5, 175 upon 256. So this number will be very far from 100. 80 is again 80 is already very far from 100, and this number is less than 1. So this number will be far from 100. So we don't have to calculate it exactly. We just have to check whether we have a number closer to 100 or more closer to 100 as compared to this number. So we will check the same result for n equal to 5. So S for n equal to 5, that will be 80 times 1 minus 3 by 4 raised to 5. So S5 will be 80, 1 minus. So because the power is odd, this negative will also be there. So this will be positive. 3 raised to 5 is 243. And 4 raised to 5 is 1024. So this 1024 plus 243, this will be 7612, 1267 upon 1024. So this number will be very close to 100. As we can see, this is 80 and this number is almost 1.25 times. So 80 times 1.25, this number will be very close to 100, right? If we go further, if n is 6, then this will be negative. So this number will be again less than 1. So that will not be possible. And if we go further, n equal to 7, then this number will be more than 1.25. So it will be more than 100. So the closest possible result is here. And that is with n equal to 5. So I can say n equal to 5 will be the correct answer. And we had a assumption that r is negative. Right? So n equal to 5 will be the correct answer. Right? And r is negative, that is also a correct assumption, because if r is not negative, then the sum of lesser numbers equal to 100 and sum of infinite numbers equal to 80, that will not be possible. Right? So that way we can say r equal to minus 3 by 4 be a correct way to go ahead. So that way answer is D.